A few days ago, I decided to revisit the great Detroit Become Human because it had been a long time since I last experienced its story, so I decided to give it another go. I have to say, it's a highly replayable game with a multitude of options and endings, and generally, it isn't very long if you stick to the main path. Despite that, since its release, I've only played it twice. So, I decided to try it again now that I've forgotten parts of the story. Playing it again, I understood why it captivated me so much back then. So this time, I'm going to tell you about my honest opinion playing this game a few years after its release. So don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy these videos. First, this game remains one of the best looking games I've ever seen. Even though we're talking about a game that's over 7 years old, the character models, lighting, and environments in general look perfect. It's incredibly immersive in that sense. The immersion in its world is achieved to perfection. It's strange because, revisiting the game, I didn't feel like I was playing just another game on the list. It felt like watching a movie that I was directing. Everything is so well constructed, the music, sounds, characters, and much more, that you become completely absorbed in that futuristic world. As if that weren't enough, in addition to the graphics, the artistic direction, camera work, and sequences in the game are magnificent. I love how as you move or interact with other characters, the camera and sequences adapt, taking on different angles and giving the game a very cinematic and artistic feel. It's one of the game's strong points, and it's incredible how well it's executed. Of course, sometimes the camera changes cause the character to make a strange movement, but it's nothing that ruins the experience. In my case, I hardly even noticed it. So, in terms of artistry and overall presentation, I would give all the game's shots a perfect 10 out of 10. Detroit Become Human is set in a world where androids have gained significant relevance in everything. Everyone owns an android, and there are many types of models. Thanks to their advanced intelligence, they began to replace humans, leaving them without jobs. It's a world where androids have taken over an important part of society. Humans started to depend on them, and they are used in many ways, such as assistants, couriers, and even sex companions, mimicking human emotions and behaviors almost perfectly. However, several cases of androids rebelling against humans begin to emerge, and now these objects start to feel fear, anger, and uncertainty. This causes a drastic change in this world. And well, that's what the entire plot of the game is based on. We get to control 3 androids throughout the story, each with very different, yet equally exciting and immersive plots, all interconnected with the main storyline, of course. But, in this video, I don't want to delve too much into the game's story. Perhaps another time. I want to talk about how magnificently well-made everything is. Going back to what I said about it feeling like watching a movie that you are directing, I mean the decisions and various paths available to choose within the different chapters. Personally, I've played several decision-based games of various types. However, what I really like about Detroit Become Human is the sense of danger and tension that you often feel. A simple bad decision can lead to the death of a character, changing everything. In most cases, you'll have a limited time to choose your options that impact the game, no matter how minimal, at all times. And while I know this isn't new per se, the way it generates that weight in your decisions is something I've rarely seen in other games of this style, which have consequences and weight but are restricted to a certain level. In fact, many times the game will require you to pay attention to certain elements, since you'll need to piece things together yourself, leading to a completely different path if you make a mistake. Therefore, I repeat that this system isn't new, but it is taken to the extreme here. Just in the game's prologue, you have about 5 or 6 possible outcomes, with options to fail the mission or complete it successfully. The story's pace is very good, and overall it doesn't feel long or tedious at all. All the plots pick up a very dynamic pace towards the end, even intertwining all the characters at a certain moment. In these final chapters, things get a bit more difficult, and a mistake in your decisions can end very badly for the characters. Something else I really like is that, depending on your decisions, your story will be completely unique, but never feel generic or like filler. Even making bad decisions or getting bad endings, the narrative and those paths manage to convey the same feeling as if you did everything right. The story adapts to what you decide, giving solid narrative foundations to any path you take. The character's evolution depends entirely on you, and whatever path you choose will be justified. The game also has very interesting plots and stories right from the start. What does it mean to be human? What does it mean to have a soul? Very powerful themes that give the story notable depth. Personally, I love the character of Connor and his relationship with his partner Hank. Connor's storyline is my favorite because it follows the investigation into these rebellious androids while exploring Connor's own emotions. This character is the only one of the three you can take down an antagonist path. In my case, I decided to be good with all the characters. But as I said, the options offered by the game are very interesting. Even with Markus, that sort of messiah who decided to fight for androids' rights, is a character you can take down various paths, some of which are quite ethically questionable. As I said, you can create a story however you want, without limitations. There's nothing more annoying to me than when games disguise decision-making, making you think you really control the story when, in reality, whatever you do, things don't change. Well, that's not the case here. The death of Kara and Alice, for example, due to a bad decision at any point in the story, is a real consequence of your actions in the game, as with any of the other two characters. Therefore, I won't fall short by saying it's an absolute masterpiece. It's a game worth trying, and if you have time, even to see the different endings because, as I said, all of them are perfectly well crafted. As for the gameplay, it has quite a few options, but that doesn't mean it's difficult. In the first few hours, you can adapt very quickly and without problems. It's not like you're thrown into a life or death QuickTime event within the first 20 minutes. The game has a rhythm and knows how to guide you. However, the danger is always there, and as the story progresses, things start to get a bit more difficult. But as I said, that's the beauty of the game. In conclusion, I just wanted to make this video to share my experience replaying this title and give you my final opinion on it. If you've never tried it, don't miss out thinking it's an old game or something like that. To this day, it remains a masterpiece with a powerful narrative and outstanding graphics. And I believe that within the genre of decision-based games, this is one of the best options to choose from. Let me know what you think of all this, and if you agree with my opinion, as well as if you had the chance to try it. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to support the channel and future videos. I plan to upload another video about the game, discussing its story and characters in more detail, so stay tuned. Until next time.